Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. This business of politics is such a puzzling state that you do what you want to fail, that you speak and you don't mean it, and you act and you want to betray your own act. Do you remember that in Second World War, USA sold millions of dollars worth of arms to Germany? Later on, of course, it participated in the war, but at that time it was a silent spectator. And then the sympathies were with the Allies. What they did? When the ships carrying the arms were going, the American submarines torpedoed those ships and destroyed those arms. They got the money. And the arms never reached Germany. The Ukraine war is over more than a year old. And apparently, by the way, really, the NATO and the West are fighting a proxy war by supporting Ukraine. Nothing wrong with it, because as far as the party is concerned, everything is fair. But unfortunately, and that's extremely humiliating, it appears that NATO and the West allies do not want Ukraine to be successful. Ukraine is fighting heroically, I don't deny it. And the West is in serious danger of losing the war, and with it ensuring peace. The West is losing three specific but interconnected reasons. There is lack of strategy, there is fear of victory, and there is an absolute unwillingness to campaign publicly for Ukraine's victory. Can you believe it? There's a fear of victory. They don't want Ukraine to be successful. Now, Russia's aggression against Ukraine and the military failures offers the West a once-in-a-generation chance, an opportunity to reshape European and international security. This bipolar, tripolar, multipolar world can be changed drastically. But is West utilizing this opportunity to its benefit to change the very meteor of international security? No. As a matter of fact, neither Washington, nor Germany, nor any other European capital west of Warsaw. I'm not taking the former friends of USSR in consideration because they are sincere. But west of Warsaw, no European country wants victory. You would not hear anyone advocating victory or the decisive defeat of Russia. They don't want Russia to be defeated decisively. They don't want full restoration of Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity. Ukraine's subsequent full integration in NATO and European Union is also in doubt. So all this shows that this is just a way of showing help, giving arms, but then are they really giving arms? Some of the arms have been promised, but they will not reach Ukraine till 2024. The public support for Ukraine is there, but leaders, when you talk to them privately, they are skeptical that Ukraine can are apparently should win, despite fulsome pledge of tanks. All we see is a trickle of them. As I said, the US Abraham tanks will not be available till next year. For 1 year they have to wait. And do you think Russia would wait for 1 year till the tanks come and then they say, okay, now you have got the tanks, let's fight. Meanwhile, the long-range artillery and the aircraft Ukraine needs to win is withheld due to serious argument about training time needed. And then they say the other weapons are better suited for the task. But the real and unspoken motive is they are afraid of provoking Russia. Therefore, Russia's protected public did think has inhibited Kyiv from capitalizing on its 2022 offensive and gave Russia sufficient time to mobilize new forces, build stronger defenses, and launch its new offensive. Nevertheless, the recent anniversary of the war triggered an undeserved outburst of self-congratulation. Since the timely provision of the armaments may have helped Ukraine inflict a decisive defeat upon Russia, it could have. Indeed, it's quite possible that Kyiv would and is almost on the point of surrendering Bakhmut. And there's a delay in spring offensive because even with the passage of 13 years, West cannot get itself together. It is promised, but it has not delivered. And what has happened is, it has only given an opportunity to Russia and its supporters to criticize West. And Putin is very clear about what he wants. He is very clear about the negotiations and the territorial conquest. And this Western equivocation, dithering, and territorial conquest, these delays by the West reflect an increasing groundless fear of victory and entails the genuine and long-lasting security and economic commitment and holding Russia accountable. Now, Western governments are increasingly discounting Putin's nuclear threat. They say, no, he will not move. And they remain unwilling to give Ukraine the military and economic support. Now, for example, 164 billion was promised to Kyiv. Out of promised 164 billion, only 31 billion has been given. Not 64 billion, but just 31 billion. The sorry state of tank sports is well known. And moreover, there are many strategists still advocating negotiations and yet have no idea how they can advance the security of Ukraine. It's all talk and show. And this fear of victory justifies Putin's determination and belief that he can win by outlasting what he perceives, and very correctly, a decadent, a very effete adversary. Secondly, it inhibits the formulation and prosecution of a resolute Western strategy. Thirdly, it provides new opportunities for a claque of experts arguing, even in the mouth of Putin's cannons, for negotiations. So this advocacy disregards Putin's refusal to negotiate reveals a basic failure to grasp that Russian policy emerges from an entirely different cognitive milieu than it does about the Western thinking. The whole philosophy is different. And when you don't understand the philosophy, you cannot have a counter strategy. There are misconceived analogies to the other wars, which have no relevance. Russian way of fighting is much different. Whether it's defending their territory or attacking another territory. Remember what happened to Napoleon. The defeat of Napoleon was because of Russia. What happened to Hitler? And they lost because they could not understand the underlying philosophy and thought of Russia. You have to get into the minds to understand it. The biggest problem with the West is that the so-called experts assume they know everything about the culture and they don't know a fig about it. Apart from assuming that a grinding war of attrition is the only possible outcome there, and they are advocating measures to ensure it stays that way. I heard and read one of the experts saying that Ukraine faces either complete annihilation or continued Russian occupation of its territories. Other experts contend that it's Ukraine who must be forced to negotiate. And behind all this is a notion that Russia cannot be defeated. The reality is it cannot be defeated because these so-called strategies do not understand the working of Putin's mind. Lastly, there has been an absolute unforgivable failure to articulate a strategy that expresses and stimulates the division within the domestic public opinion in America and in Europe. Normally, presidential campaigns publicly and repeatedly build support for major policy initiation in USA. It's always there. This time, nothing of that sort happened. So what's the result? The door is left open to unflagging and misinformed attacks on the cost of the aid to Ukraine, since it's assumed that it's not in the American interest. It's no surprise that there is no public support for Ukraine, especially among the Republicans. And don't forget, nature abhors a vacuum. But the absence of a public White House campaign strongly suggests that just neglect or disdain for such campaigning. But there's a worrisome and long-running inability to fashion a strategy. And it's neither American strategy nor European strategy. And that's another reason for demand that Ukraine should negotiate with Russia. These interactive deficits of the Western policy have already delayed one Ukrainian offensive and would force postponement of others while giving Moscow a chance to recoup its losses and get its way out. If you fail to ensure a Ukrainian victory, it would be a clear mark of West's strategic incompetence And then, if China, Russia combo rules the world as a superpower, there will be no one to blame but the West, USA, Germany, France, and their B team, including Canada, where really the politics which doesn't have clear strategy is self-defeating, and we see it in the fear of victory that West has. They don't want Ukraine to win. They are afraid that if Ukraine wins, it will be start of new problems. And that they say so because they don't understand the real working, the real strategy that motivates Putin. Thank you.